and today I will be reviewing the Ledlenser ML4 light lantern, lamp, whatever you want to call it. I purchased this with my own money 3 or 4 months ago now. I've used it at least a dozen times, fully tested it. I've used all the different settings, the functions in many different sets of conditions, and I'm extremely happy with this lamp. It's incredible. What I like about it, it's less than 10 centimeters tall. It's really tiny. I mean, look how small it is. It is extremely lightweight, 71 grams only. It's so unbelievably light, which is, I don't even notice that I have it with me when I'm hiking. I can clip it onto anything. It has a carabiner here, so I usually clip this onto the top of a trekking pole when I'm setting up a tarp camp, and it's just fantastic. It's extremely durable. This plastic on the outside is unbelievably tough. You can just feel the difference. I've owned lots of different lamps from many different brands, and this by far feels the sturdiest and the strongest. Even the small carabiner part on the top here, I don't even feel as though I could snap this even if I tried. The battery life, it's low consumption. You can choose between 5, 50, 150 and 300 lumens. That's extremely bright for a lamp of this size. If you use a 300 lumen setup, it steps down to 150 or potentially 50, 150 I believe, after 30 seconds or so for preservation. But if you needed something, it's an emergency, you just need extremely bright light for 30 seconds to move something, to grab something, to identify something, 300 lumens is super powerful for a lamp of this size, 10 centimeters tall. It's quite astonishing, really. I tend to use it on a 50 lumen setup, and with that I get, well, I've used this, let's put it this way, I've used this for a 2-night camp over 3 days, and it still held charge at the end. I've charged it when I got home, hadn't even had to think about it. This is what I most enjoy about this. Sometimes it sits in my drawer at home for 2 weeks, doesn't lose any of its battery, so there's no loss at all. That's really a key point as well. You shouldn't have to remember to charge it again before you leave for a camp when you charge it when you arrive home, right? But with many options you do. This you do not. That's awesome too. You get up to 45 hours on the lowest 5 lumen brightness, but I think that's too dark in my opinion. It's too low to do most things. Even if you're just sitting and reading, I think 50 for me is the minimum. But it just goes to show in an emergency situation, 45 hours, wow. The other thing I really enjoy about this is the dual power option. So yes, you can charge it as USB, it's USB rechargeable. That's really important for me. But also, it uses an ion lithium battery. If this runs out and you don't want to use your power bank to recharge it, to charge it, you can use a standard AA battery instead. That's incredible, because I have enough things to worry about charging when I'm camping. I don't want this to be on that list, right? So the fact that I can just pop out the lithium ion rechargeable battery and put in a standard AA battery, that's just, it's a massive relief. Peace of mind with this is key. So overall, it's a glowing review. It's really an exceptional lamp. I'm so happy I bought it. I paid around 30 euros only for this. It probably sounds a little steep. Some people are thinking, oh, 30 euros for a lamp, that's a little excessive. Well, I'd had 3 options prior to that, all which range between sort of 15 and 20 euros, and they just didn't last. They didn't hold their charge. They promised 8 hours and I was getting 2-3 hours. I was having to charge them again and again and again. Over a 2-day trip, I had to charge 3 or 4 times. For something that wasn't even that inexpensive, I expected far better results from competitors, and they were very, very poor. This is just a whole different world. What do I not like about the Ledlenser ML4? Well, they claim that it's a feature, that it's a positive selling point, that it charges with a magnetic attachment, magnetic cable, something similar to a MagSafe. Well, I see what they were doing here. I understand the idea behind this. It means that, you know, if it drops, it's not going to pull something down. If you're charging it, it's attached to a power bank, for example, it's not going to dangle on there and potentially damage the cable or the power bank, the connections. I'm not really too sure why they went with this idea, in truth, because I would much rather this just charge with its standard USB Type-C, because it's yet another charging cable that I have to take with me. As I mentioned before, I've never had to charge it whilst out camping anyway, but I'm never going to leave without having the cable just in case, right? And, or maybe I should. Maybe since I can replace it with an AA battery, maybe I don't need to take this charging cable with me. I could just keep this leave this at home potentially, right? But you guys all know what I mean. It feels better to take the charging cable with you, but as it's a proprietary one and not a USB-C, it's an issue. It's an extra cable that I just really don't think they needed to do this. One other thing I should mention is once it's turned off, it stays lit up green. It has a specific type of, wait, there is a material, phosphorescent I think is the word. So for some time it stays green, actually, for like many hours in fact. It stays a very, very dim green color, and that helps you to find it when it's dangling above you in a tent, for example. The other point here as well is that the on-off switch is on the top, which is protected by the carabiner, and it has a lock function, so if you hold it down for 5 seconds for traveling, it completely turns off. There's no issue with this turning on in your suitcase or in your rucksack or whatever. But I'm not entirely sure the lock's required, because it'd have to be a pretty unique set of circumstances where something gets underneath the carabiner and presses this. It could happen, of course, so I appreciate that there's the option. Red, white, flashing, there's just no end to the number of features that this ML4 has. Thank you for listening to this review. I paid for this myself. If anyone ever wants to send me something for me to take a look at, I'd love to do that. I would really enjoy reviewing new products. I'm always looking to add to my inventory of stuff, and I'm purchasing stuff on an ongoing basis, but whilst I'm not into sponsorship, I absolutely would give an honest and clear review of any product. I've been particularly emphatically positive about this, and I realise that it could seem a little biased, but it's absolutely not. I'm happy to point out any of the negatives on this, but there just really aren't any apart from this damn charging cable. It's just perfect, and I'm extremely happy with this. For 35 euros, like £30 or $40 US, something along those lines, it's an unbelievable steal, and I highly recommend this. I think you can replace out your cheap alternatives with this and you'll get many years. It has a 7-year warranty as well, by the way. 7-year warranty. Psh, what's not to love? Thank you for watching. See you soon.